Okay, I have 6:30. Welcome. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I don't know if it's here because it's air conditioning tonight or you just don't want to stay outside. Melissa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh? Mr. Baker?
Here.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Here. Okay, thank you. You have in front of you the minutes from May 23rd.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from May 23rd.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Fasich?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes. And a couple pages back, we have the May 22 bank reconciliation.
I make a motion to approve May bank reconciliation.
Second.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Fasich?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker? Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
And behind that, we have the May 22 paid vouchers.
I make a motion to pay the May 22 vouchers.
Second. Any questions or discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Fasich?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker? Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
And following that, we have the May 2022 ERUs and gas payments.
I make a motion to pay the gas and the ERUs for May.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Fasich?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have Seth Thompson here this evening from Panda Technology. Welcome, Seth. Seth also saved me. Sarah sent me some nice, pretty pictures, and I couldn't get them to print, so thank you, Seth.
Well, perfect. You guys care if I go stand between Mr. Jim and Mr. Rob?
Nope,
I
come
don't
on up.
see anybody know what's twisting their necks. All right, I promise I will not take long. I have some asks today and give a little recap of what's going on in the village. The last time I spoke with everybody, we were actually doing very good. Things were going very good, as well as we had some teachings with as of today, all current village employees have successfully went through their phishing and scam email stuff. So everyone has been educated on that. I have been testing people. No one has fell for it yet. So it's a good thing. And I know some village employees was supposed to take 30 minutes. It went so great. We actually didn't take it an hour. People had very good questions. We went over a lot of stuff, as well as what was covered. So we went over that. As far as things go with the actual technology, I know we had some projects coming up that some of them were finished, some of them are still on back order. Sad to say that technology is still slowly leaking into the United States. We are on the list to finish up on some of the cameras down at the pool. I know that people are very eager to get that done. I am as well, trust me, I 100% am. Of course, it's getting a little bit more political stuff, but we're reliant on other countries for computer chips, things like that, as well as got silicon shortage. So they're slowly streaking in. We're very on top of it. I've been meeting with Greg and Kathy, as well as Melissa, trying to get everything in as much as we can. Aside from that, we're also working on getting better internet access down there. We are working with the Northwest Water Sewer District to put antennas on top of their clear wells, their towers, so we can get internet down at the pool, that we can, one, provide guest access, better phone service, as well as other services, especially access to the campus. Police station is the police station. I know Tammy and I have been trying to work our best to get things up and going, services being up to par. It's just an old building. There's a lot of wires that we're using that are not the best, but we're still continuing to work. I'm trying to work my best with Tammy without either of us being irritated that we're just ripping things out of the walls. Everybody with me so far?
There's chairs behind you, Kevin.
All right. One of the most recent projects we just finished up was the new monitors. I know there's a table back there just with the old ones. So we put new monitors in every office, as well as the cameras through TVs. That way everybody can know that they're being watched, as well as the people working here. I know it's kind of hard to get up and it's easier to just look at a TV and see if there's someone at the front door, things like that. So that was the most recent project that was finished, which kind of leads me into the ask here in a little bit. But does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns regarding everything I spoke to so far?
I do want to back up. I know that he's working on the cameras at the pool and the park. The old ones are currently functioning. That is not through Seth, and basically they're standalone, and I think it's very difficult to review them, but if there were a tragedy down there or an accident or anything, we do currently have cameras. So if you decide to swim in the middle of the night, never know.
And I believe Greg has been taught on how to access them. And at that point, we're relying on Greg.
Yes. Sure. Just for safety.
Yep.
Can anybody else access them?
No. Nope. It's solely here on premises only. There's no cloud access. There's no mobile access. It's all through a program which is currently installed on Greg's computer.
That was taken care of.
Yep. And I believe we also changed the passwords as well, just in case if someone did ever have access, they wouldn't know, or the information would have already changed. Okay. All right. Any other things about all that? All right. So then my first ask today, as we know, the economy is changing, constantly changing, things like that. Currently, right now, our email services is through Google. I hope everybody's had a chance to log in through the email stuff. So Google has most recently changed the way they do their billing, the services they add on, as well as the type of category, which we're government, which we can fall in and what packages we can get. We're currently on the $12 package, but here in July 1st, we actually are being forced to move to the 24, plus we're losing all these other services. Again, not a service through me, but it is one that we have to sign up for, that we use for, of course, email tracking, archiving, as well as some of our Google Docs and backup stuff. Everybody with me so far? I would like to transition this, and actually provides us a lot more services, makes lives a little bit easier for the employees with their login capabilities, things like that. Kind of like what we did with the phone service. We're taking out a middleman and then switching over everything. We'll just call it Panda. All right. With Panda, it'll be through a different way of logging in, just so everybody is aware. Just better security measures, better reporting, better archiving, without breaking the bank. And I mean that in a nice way, of course. The services are wonderful. I just can't negotiate the price, as well as we're losing the majority of our services. Have lived with me so far. I know a lot of this can get very confusing very quickly. So what I'd like to do is transfer within the next month, transfer everything with us. That also means for everybody that has a current email, you no longer have to worry about creating a new password every 3 months. I know that was, many people have come up to me and said that's kind of a headache. We're actually enforcing two-factor authentication. Same thing with if you guys would ever log into your computers here. Same password for everything. I know those who are tech savvy, which I don't really want to get really involved with it, but we're kind of changing over to the single sign-on. Those who are aware, one password for everything. You have to have your phone, so there's that extra security, so you don't have to be changing your password. You gotta click accept. Everything gets monitored, GPS, where you log in, who logs in, all that great stuff. So this is my first X. Yep.
So does that still give you the capability of remote logging in?
Can you, right now?
Right now, I don't put any of the village stuff on my phone.
Okay.
I always just go out to Google and log in there and utilize the email that way.
Okay, yes, so there's a different way of accessing it, but this is the same idea, yes. I would give everybody the authenticated link. I would change everybody's password to something temporary, which would immediately ask you to change it, as well as add a phone number or download an app.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, no, please ask questions like that. All right. I showed everybody's attention. I know that's a lot of stuff. So that's the first one. First question deals with a lot of stuff, makes lives a little bit easier, and we're not spending as much. Because that is one of the things I'm self-conscious about. Overspending, not getting a lot of services, saving some costs, but still getting the same plus more. All right? Number two, when we first came in here, I believe it was 2018, the equipment in the back was very subpar, so we ended up upgrading to newer equipment that can hold about 40 to 60 clients. That means every mobile device that's connected, that's one. Every printer that's connected, that's one. But now that we're at a point where we're actually sharing internet with the pool, the public going to be here soon, the public works, or I guess I call it public works, it's all billing them down at their billing, as well as the police station. Those clients has added up so much that we're actually starting to bog down the system a little bit. We're studying at a minimum of 85 clients, as well as when people come in to work, usually those go above 100. So, we don't have to change much. It is, a little price. I'm not really asking for that one today, just because I don't have the quote with all the detailed stuff labeled out, just because technology, a little bit worse and worse. But things are starting to get bogged down a little bit to a point where a perfect example is if you actually look up at the camera or at the TV, you can see that it's getting really choppy. Anybody that makes a motion, it's not smooth. Now, it's not supposed to be immediate, but it's not supposed to be for the part where it's just jumping. All right? So that just includes, again, kind of going to the tech savviness, be upgrading from a gigabit router up to a 10 gig router. And then that just that's one of the variables that solves the issue. This prolongs us for adding up to those devices. We can actually hold up to 300 devices. But it also comes with, the security software, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, all that great stuff. So that kind of covers us from all the way around, as well as future stuff. I know there was stuff in with the public work or police with the next door. We don't have to buy any of the major equipment. Like I said, we're not asking for much, but it does come with a $1,600 cost. Of course, that will be sent to you later. But I just want to bring it to everybody's attention. That way, when they receive it, they know what I'm talking about. Okay?
One-time cost, right?
One time, yep. I don't really like spend, and the good part about this is, yes, it's a one-time cost. We don't have a monthly subscription for internet for the pool, the public works, the police station. We have one here, which is shared for everybody. So, in the long run, it will add up, which will honestly save us quite a bit of money. But it's just because it's the perfect timing to get it, because it is in stock. I've actually personally already bought quite a few, but it's best to do it before things just get to a snail crawl.
And if I remember right, a couple of those places were using Watch TV.
Yep,
Is it Watch
back
TV?
to that time
when we first started, so we have tried to combine them, and we picked up more, which, like Seth said, is starting to bog us down.
which is good. I'm always a fan of technology, but when we get to that point where we're almost at 100 clients every single day, the pool's open, so if we ever wanted to provide guest Wi-Fi, things like that, if somebody has a meeting down at the police station in the meeting room, That's just more. All right?
So, back to your first one.
The email stuff.
We would need a motion because we did that for the phone
Yep.
system. So would it be a motion for Panda Technologies to provide all email services, or how would that be worded?
I would quote it that way, yes. Because that gives me full flexibility to do everything for everybody.
Do I have a motion for that?
I'll motion.
Or Mel, you got it?
You said, you, Sarah? I second.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Any discussion or questions for Seth regarding that? Okay, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
Mr. Faisy?
Yes.
And how do you want to do the router? Do you want to wait till you see the actual breakdown on the quotes? Or do you want to go ahead with that?
I think we should wait for it.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's completely fair.
That's fine.
All right?
All right.
Perfect.
Any-
Anybody needs to get a hold of me, everybody has my contact information, correct? All right. I think that's it for me. Sadly, I have to go on to my next job, but, any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, phone call, text, or email. All right?
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
Hope everybody has a great day.
Okay, we do have some visitors this evening that would like to speak. Dennis Turner, you are up first.
Thank you. I'm here for the objection to what they're planning to do in Rolling Meadows and the addition over there. It came to my attention that they just recorded a third amendment for the building restrictions from the old owners that used to own the property. They had to do it because that was stopping the whole project from going. And we understand that there's a lot of signatures that were fraudulently got put on that document. And also that the owner himself was listing a bunch of lots that he said he owned back there. There's no subdividing back there. There's only like 5 or 6 parcels that he actually owns. So the number of people that he would need to sign that document wasn't the right amount. And like I said, a lot of them were got fraudulently. Okay? I also think that there's a little bit of a conflict of interest with Councilman Tyler on the EDO and also being on the zoning commission. I feel that's a big conflict.
I resigned that position
You
before.
did resign,
Yes,
okay.
Before I took any.
All right, but you're still on zoning.
Correct.
Yeah. And most of the people I've talked to back there in Troy get you a lot more than I will on there, because I just been informed about I got back from Florida, and I thought all this thing kind of went to rest because when I left, the developer said that if he didn't get this going right away, he was going to back out. Well, now he's purchased the property, and so he's apparently trying to get this thing through quickly. And I don't know why, what the whole plan is, but he is doing it without a lot of people back in that subdivision knowing exactly what's going on. And like I said, he told, when they went around to get these signatures, they told people it was to allow you to have a swimming pool, a fence, you know, that's on the restrictions deeds. What it ended up being was that they would take those lots, that area back there, so they could rezone that. Because where our covenants read before, he couldn't do that. So he had to get that way to change.
It was explained to them that it would need to be rezoned.
It still has to be rezoned.
Correct.
And it has to come in, and again, that's another thing. You put your zoning meetings at 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm retired, I can make it, but there's a lot of people in this village that work. Why do they do it at 3:30 in the afternoon? Why don't they do it later in the evening?
We filed the same time that's what they were.
But you're not doing the same times on every days.
We have a person who sits on zoning that currently is working different shift nights.
But they were at 3:30 in the past administrations.
I understand that. I complained about that at another council meeting, that I thought that should be changed, because we do have people at work. And people who object to some of these things can't come in and give voice their opinion. So
I hope his attorney comes the 22nd, you can ask your questions directly to him. I can't speak on behalf of anything.
Well, I know some of the people that signed this petition, we've talked about getting an attorney to get this taken to civil court and get this thrown out. So I just want to be constantly aware of that.
Yeah, same.
Dennis, I've known you for a while. If property owners have an issue that some step is missing or fraudulent or whatever by the developer that even the village council's not aware of, those homeowners got standing to hire counsel to say, hey, wait a minute, bring this to a stop. It's called an injunction. I don't want to give any more legal advice than I'm supposed to, but it would be an injunction to stop everything until it was all sorted out by a judge to make sure that they're doing it right. So
The previous
those
owner
property owners
has
have that
listed all these
regard.
lots back there that used to be the old plat, and they're not, that was all thrown out. Because if you look at the tax rolls since 2012, he has been paying nothing as far as taxes on that property because it's been zoned agriculture. But yet now he's listing all these lots in here for this petition to be signed by, he had to have 51% of the owners back there in that. And if you look, there's a whole slew of them in there that he said he owned as lots.
And you're right, so you can take that up with common pleas court, because the council don't have a right to make
Correct.
that decision.
Correct.
You're right. Yep.
I knew that. And also, some of these people that signed this here were misinformed of what they were signing. And it wasn't notarized, document was not notarized either. So that's just,
And you mentioned he owns, are you talking Mr. Blass now? Or
no, the new owner is the developer. The old owner who used to own a property that they sold it to.
The Hasselman?
Hasselman.
Hasselman?
Yes, he's the one that signed the Exhibit A on that. This was recorded, by the way, just June 2nd. So it's a newly recorded document, and attached to it is an Exhibit A. And on that Exhibit A, it lists Mark and Kyle Hasselman is only like 18 lots back there. And the Mark, there used to be subdivided lots back in that area. And then it got to cost them because Hartley's was paying $1,000 per lot for taxes. And so that's when they decided, when they sold it to Hasselman, they would make it agriculture and drop all that off so he didn't have to pay the high tax. So those lots were gone away because it was moved to be agriculture. So what they have to do in order for this developer to work is because our covenants restricts only but R1 type residents back in there. He wants to put these townhouses in and apartments. So I'm just saying that.
Thank you. Anyone on council have any questions for Dennis?
All that would have had to come to council for a vote anyways.
It has to come before the zoning. It has to come for zoning.
Are you talking the covenants that said what they could and couldn't do?
Those aren't a village item. Those don't have anything to do with the village.
They gotta straighten out any property issues through proper deeds and lifting restrictions and covenants and whatever. They gotta do that on their own.
Yeah.
They shouldn't come to council till all that's square. And
the only thing I'll say to you is
the attorney from Columbus that they're no longer using acknowledged that, and now they're using somebody else.
And they also bought some land from Ritter over there to put the access road in. So is the village gonna annex that into the village?
Hasn't been brought to us
There's
yet.
no petition.
Because he does own it now.
The only thing I'll say is I don't think he's trying to rush it through. He's put in his first request last November. It's been 7 months of trying to get something.
But also, I came to a council meeting, and he said if something didn't happen right away, it was costing him too much money, and he was gonna back out. Ms. Mary, you were
I was
here.
here, you had 40,000 in it.
Yes, and he said he wasn't gonna spend any more money.
And with all due respect to, back to
He's not
November,
changing
this
his
is,
mind. He can
no,
change
but
his
it's
mind.
morphed in 180 degrees from what it originally was proposed back
It
in.
really hasn't. When they voted on it back in December 29th, it all actually got voted on yes that night with the R4 modification by that group of people on December 29th. And then
It was a false
we
application.
did the application because the R4 wasn't on the application. But they walked away that night with every person voting yes.
I was at that meeting, and that meeting was a dumpster fire. There was people yelling and arguing, and it was going back and forth. And yes, you're correct, but the application was improperly filled out by the
It's not with the
applicant.
R4, that was the only modification.
Because of the
And
fact-
since then, it's still the same as it was then. the application. So it has not morphed a lot, that's not true.
But
That
one meeting I was
application's
at, they
the
said
same
they were
as
gonna do it all
was
R2.
Since January, the January meeting, where we had no action.
There
So
was
it's been the
just
same
a
for
black
6
line
months.
drawn on it, and it was never surveyed.
Which it has now, I believe.
Okay, Travis. Frater?
Um,
Did I pronounce it right, Frater?
Prater, yeah. Ms. Turner hit on pretty much what I want to say. I come for the way that the signatures were attained, just in my cul-de-sac between my wife and my two neighbors. We all had conflicting stories of what you and Wasson said. Told my wife, said, yeah, we put fences up, this and that. Told my neighbor that if they didn't sign, they'd have to tear their fence down, even though they went through their thing. So I'll believe my
What we
neighbors before I
described-
believe anybody,
What
so.
we described is that Joe's there and I on
But
behalf of.
what was
Joe.
described was nothing that's in here, though. Zero.
I'll tell you what he told every person. He walked up, said the guy from Lyon was looking at this subdivision and is interested in putting all of the items back there that he's mentioned, and talked about the benefits that it would bring to this community, and that's it. He described, there is in those covenants and deeds, it describes not having a fence, not allowed to have this, not allowed to have that. But in no way did he say that you have to go tear them down. That's not true. It's simply not true.
Well, my neighbors must be liars to me, and they must lie to me. And also, my wife said, she goes, I am not the homeowner. And you guys told her, oh, it doesn't matter, just go ahead and sign. So at that point, her signature on here is null and void, because she's not the homeowner. And then whoever notarizes all this crap, not in front of anybody that signs. So either you're lying, or my wife, and all my neighbors are
I
lying.
specifically remember the conversation with her.
And so when you guys show up in the middle of the night, when nobody's home, the wife's home, I'm not home. So
There's about
if
5 or
if
6
this was
people
such a great,
during the week.
grand gesture, we should have brought everybody from Rolling Meadows into one room and discussed it that way. Not in the middle of the night,
The
picking
letters
apart
were sent out
everybody.
to every person, and the meetings were posted.
Because
I mean, it was
it's,
pretty known.
Letters aren't sent to every resident.
We never got a letter.
We only sent them to 9 people,
Which I
and that
think-
was the adjoining property.
It's adjoining property.
Exactly, the minimum, they did just the minimum.
We all knew we were having these meetings, and you were all welcome to come during the zoning meetings, all the council meetings. I politely disagree with you. Nobody lied. No, everyone just, we brought up that the guy wanted to bring a development to Macomb, and that to release the deeds, they had needed the signature. If you disagree with that, I
I do.
definitely invite you to come to the meeting on the 22nd and discuss it with his attorney, because I didn't, draft that letter. Joe
I've had
had
oth-
no.
I've had other people that got their
no
signature.
doing-
and then also on the
Totally different
signature
from
page,
what
you're saying.
it says attached Exhibit A. Well, Exhibit A was never given to anybody who signed it, and it was never even signed until May. So if this was done in November, how did you come get signatures and saying right on there it says attached Exhibit A, which was the amendment?
Say that again, I'm not following.
We've gone over our 3 minutes.
It's right here. I mean, it says it right on there.
We're
So
gonna
anybody who
stick
signed
to
this
that.
you should have gave a copy of the amendment. That didn't exist at that time.
I'll stay after and listen to your concerns. I take them legitimately.
I mean, it's just the way you come into my neighborhood and talk to my wife and my neighbors.
I will say, your wife had called me back then, and she questioned what to do. And again, things died down, and I didn't know.
It dies down and then it pops
John,
up.
you're next.
Was there any other topics of folks that wanted to talk on this?
Specific topic that you signed up for, you got 3 minutes.
He didn't sign up for any topic.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if there's anybody else who wanted to talk, that it was.
No, those are the only 3 that signed.
Okay, appreciate it. Just wanted to kind of see if there was any updates as far as downtown and or the historical preservation and CBD funds.
Yes, I have reached out to the 3 that had some concerns. All but one has provided an updated estimate. I did receive a copy of the ordinance that you have worked on. Rob did receive it, and that was the one that you said you were going to have discussion later tonight on. Here was the draft that they sent me from Mason, Ohio, and that's the one that I believe Sarah sent to
Right,
you.
so this is not gonna be a-
Well, you said that we were gonna discuss it. I don't know if everyone here has had a chance to read through it.
That's the question, whether the draft is-
Fitch and McKee. Those are the ones.
I had read it at the time. We do have, it's not due by the 30th if you read through that paperwork that I
Council will
sent.
decide what they want
Okay,
you and us to do with it, and if it needs to be reviewed
okay,
and corrections made, we can do it at the next meeting.
okay.
So that will be taken care of in a week?
Probably another week.
Well, I'm not trying to
No.
hold your fire, I wanted to
He
make
will
sure I
probably,
understood.
Rob will go through it, and then we can talk tonight here if anyone had any ideas or suggestions or changes. And then,
Yeah, I think council ought to be taking a look at it and decide what they wanted to say. This is a draft by somebody else.
Mr. Hart drafted that
And
and sent it to council members.
Right, so
And
if
then
there's changes, then we would make the changes and get it on the ordinance list.
Okay.
And then you also said was, the applications are not due by the 30th of June?
No, they are not.
Do we have a date for those when they are due?
They are due, she would like to have it as quick in July as we can, so we're still focusing forward.
And then shifting gears, not downtown, but for the, and this is maybe jumping the gun a little bit as far as the celebration is concerned. Do we have a firm date on August for Tool movie?
Did you check with him, Mike?
No, I did not.
Okay. When we met as a committee of the whole,
6, 7, 8. August 6, 7, 8.
you had asked about August 18th, but we would like to maybe coordinate with the 6th, 7th, and 8th. The 6th would possibly be your swim day with the movie night. The Saturday would be stuff downtown
Mhm.
with the flea market sales, whatever. And then, that'd be Saturdays, the 6th.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday would be possibly a community church, and then Monday would be the final accumulation of everything, would be at the school following the meet the team, we would have cake and ice cream.
And then for clarity's sake, that was Saturday for movie and swim?
Yes.
The
Thank you.
6th.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just
Okay.
looking to make sure I get it on my calendar.
Yeah, I'll get with you too.
And John, if you get a chance to let me know what movie you think you're going to show.
My kids already made some recommendations.
Okay.
Probably will trump those and
Okay, because I
focus it.
would like to get something in the advertisement, you know, the movie, so that everybody can gear up for it.
Probably Bad Guys if it's on Blu-ray by that point in time. Pretty clean, cut and dry.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Well, just let me know.
There's
for
no
sure.
tongue in cheek on that one in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me know.
You've already
for
pre-screened.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else that did not sign up that has changed their mind? Okay, moving on. Sarah, you have the cemetery report.
The sexton was handling there's a large dirt pile, I'm not quite sure what the directions of it, can't remember, by the railroad tracks, and the sexton's gonna be taking a look at that to figure out, there's some leftover dirt and some concrete there that they're gonna be moving. And he was made aware of some tombstones that were moved, so he went out to, they were bumped with a lawnmower or, so he was taking care of that, but other than that, it was just a typical cemetery meeting.
Yeah, that dirt pile's in the northwest corner of the cemetery area.
But that's all.
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
The committee of
Madam
the
Mayor?
whole.
Can I ask her a question?
Sure.
On cemeteries, I believe the Rotary, and I'm not sure because I've been down in Florida, but normally the Rotary cleans the tombstones over there. I'm not sure if they've got a date set yet for that, but we've been doing that once a year.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that, but I can talk to you
Yeah,
about
I
that.
had a date scheduled like last fall and it never got done.
I think the weather.
Yeah, I've missed the last few because of work, so I
Yeah.
don't think it's done.
It's nice when we get the fire department down there, because it makes it easier.
When did they do that?
I'm not sure the date yet.
Let us know.
Yeah. I will.
Help out.
The committee of the whole, we met on June 7th here at 5:30. We talked about the following grants: NatureWorks, the JAG, the CDBG, critical infrastructure for Church Street, the Community Foundation's 30th anniversary, and the downtown revitalization. Most of our time was spent working on Macomb's 175th celebration. We did talk about the report of the inspection at the property at 216. And I did share that there is a donor that has donated the $10,000 seed money for the Community Foundation to provide for long-term legacy for our Macomb Parks and Pool. Once that is all worked out, we'll hear more from the gals from the Community Foundation. At the time, we had 3 letters of interest for serving on council. I did receive an additional one today, and that is in front of you. So that was the committee of the whole. And since that was our committee meeting, we have these ready.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Go ahead and call this in.
Bradford.
Mr. Rumble?
Yes.
Mr. Vacy?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
As you down, Tyler, is that right, or is it?
No, it should be mine.
It's mine, right?
Sorry about that.
I was like, no, I don't think we had that.
Yeah, we didn't have it.
Mike, on the Park and Rec.
So we had, first thing on the agenda was the Macomb Partnership Foundation for the Cookie Fest requested to see if they could use the concession stand back at Ball Diamond number 2, and rather than having everybody back there with the car show, rather than have everybody walk clear to the front of the park to get food and stuff. So we're bringing that. Everybody in the Parks and Recs agreed that everything was good there. It just needs to be in attendance all the time and make sure that none of the equipment that's stored in there gets misplaced or anything. So, and then item 2 on there was status of summer help and getting somebody to help out down at the park with weed whacking, cleaning it up, and so they hired a part-time student, and at that point he was supposed to start on Monday, but it rained, so he got a couple days delay. So, but from what I see, once he hit it pretty good, and really started cleaning up down there in the front of the park, and looks a lot better. Much appreciated. And then there was a status on getting the new swings installed in the back playground, and that's scheduled for the week, this week here, that they'll get installed back there. New business was asking if we could get more trash cans along the walk path, and Don Andonian said he had 1 barrel left that he'd be able to put out along that walk path back around number 2 reservoir. Brad Brown reported, asked about getting new orange spaces replaced. Some are getting weathered for diamonds 3 and 4 back there. And I agreed to look into the pricing of those bases, and for diamonds 3 and 4, that's a part of the fund that we put together with the lighting fund and that, so those will be purchased from that fund. So, Brad also noted that cars were driving back at the shelter at Diamond number 2, and Don had noted that he'd been back there. That's some of the guys with the disc golf, and then the guy's name is Dennis Seal, goes back there and unloads his car, right? So we were in agreement that we'd be okay with that, but we just don't want him to leave his car back there after he's done dropping his items off in the shelter. So that way it doesn't give everybody else the thought so that we all can go back there because that car's back there. So, number 2 diamond needs some red crushed lava rock. Don Andonia noted that this can be picked up in southern Ohio, Sugar Creek, Amish area. And also Brad wanted to make sure that the fields were taken care of for last Saturday's games because they're having to make up some games, and that was taken care of as well. So Tyler didn't have anything to report at this point. And Greg Light then had noted that the cost of the painting, we were looking at paving that back parking lot. The one side, the south side's worse than the north side. And for us to do it right, it costs a little bit of money, and the way everything is right now, the prices are extremely high. Well, we got the quote came back, and the quote price was the same price for doing just one side of the lot, what it was previously when we had quoted to do the whole lot. So at this point in time, we decided to table this and move that down the road until January 1st of next year. Just kind of back that away. So and it was mentioned again about the park entrance, about removing the weeds at the curb. And I agreed to get in contact with the roadie to see if they had any interest in this project. And in the meantime, today, Greg called me and had 4-H had reached out to him to want to know if they could go ahead and do it. And I was, to me, I'm in total agreement with them wanting to do it. So I don't know what you're.
I emailed her back and said that they're more than happy to do it. If you need to purchase any more for flowers, let us know.
See if that way we can get that cleaned up to make that look a little bit better.
Okay, is there a motion then to accept the minutes from the Park and Rec?
Motion approved.
Second. Any questions, discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker? Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
Mr. Rumble?
Yes.
Okay, under old business, the body dash cams. There's been further discussion with everything going on, and the idea that we have applied for a grant, but we won't even hear till November, and that's not a guarantee. It was brought up that we probably should go ahead and order one body cam and one dash cam at this time.
I make a motion to order one body cam.
Second.
And I do have those prices. I don't know if the quote's still good, but it's got to be close.
It should be.
I did speak with Lizzie on that today, and she said that doesn't hinder anything. We won't be reimbursed if we do receive the grant, but that does leave the money up for the software and another 2 sets of that.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
That's fine. Any further questions or discussion on that? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Rumble?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde?
Yes.
And then Tammy, will you get a hold of that gentleman tomorrow?
First thing tomorrow.
It's Kevin, right? Kevin? Thank you. Get those in. Thanks.
Sounds good.
Pardon? Okay, open burning is next.
Council did discuss some open burning regulations, several meetings, and I thought we kind of had it nailed down to what I thought council may want. I did attempt to draft an ordinance so we could begin readings tonight. There were changes that were made to it, but they were made during the day today and not received by the mayor yet, so she'll have those. But I guess what I'm looking for is I was kind of taking a guess of what I was getting, a vibe the council wanted, and I guess what we're looking for is, it sounded like council wanted to regulate zero burning in what we call the downtown area. And there's some parcel numbers that would address that area. Is there a good way to describe that area using the roads, high and south and north or whatever?
We can't use the word High Street because that includes at least 3 homes there. The Boyers, Jenkins, and I'm not sure who lives in the other one. So that is why when I passed that map out, I went by parcel numbers. And Rob and I had a little discussion. He thought that that was one parcel to the next parcel. So it should be beginning like with parcel 7960.
Like Cypress to the bank.
Through, that we can't say Cypress to the
Right.
bank.
Or
or
reference
this
parcel number.
So that's why he's going to go.
Does council have that map? Or do you have, I mean,
I
you know,
passed it out last
Printed
meeting.
last week, that was
Yeah.
perfect.
So, all I want to know is if council's saying no burning of any kind, and what I included in the ordinance was unless there was permission for same given in writing from proper village authority. I mean, if someone, I can't think of hypotheticals, but let's say there was some kind of a street closure and you were gonna allow, I don't know what it is, but anyway, they could ask for permission. Does council want to restrict downtown? That there's no burning downtown? Because that was the vibe I got, that there's no reason to have a fire downtown unless there was some application made.
Cooking
by
device,
council.
cooking device, right, no recreation.
Is that, because if that's it, then I would like to have a motion that that's kind of what it says. I think the rest of it, I understood what council kind of was alluding to. There was no formal vote on it, but if we have that, I'll fix this and we can get this thing going.
Would that be considered first reading or no?
No.
You have to have it first.
Now, I'll fix it and we'll get a first reading in, and if someone wants to pass it by emergency, more power to them, but if not, at least be a first reading.
Make a motion for the wording to be the parcels.
Exclude
Exclude downtown burning.
which would be known as parcels ending 7960, on the south side ending at 1988, and on the north, on the north side, 8700, ending at 9994, which is captioned as the bank.
And I
Yes, that's the
included
downtown.
the empty lot, because I don't know what will end up there,
Yeah.
if anything ever.
Does that include me? I mean, I'm not sure what this lot number 1980 to 79, I'm lot 5 and 6, part of lot 5 and part of lot 6 of McComb's original plats of 175 years ago. I'm in the center of the village.
Sharon, it starts with Primrose, but again, we're going to use parcel numbers because Primrose might not be there forever. So it would start with that parcel and would go down through the fire station on High Street. On the north side, it starts at the bank and goes down to the empty lot there by Cypher's. But again, we can't say Cypher's because 40 years from now, it might not be Cypher's. So if we use parcel numbers, they always remain the same.
Parcels are split by the alleys that run parallel to Main Street. Then we're talking the alley that ends right behind my property is where the burning would end.
Correct.
Then Bonnie and John Boyles can burn. Mandy Boyles, if they can burn, but across the alley, in the center of the village, no burning.
Correct.
That is what we are after.
Yes. So Rob will...
There was a motion, but I don't know if I heard any seconds at all.
Second. Yes, I'll second.
So this is just to do the correction?
Right.
This is the first reading?
No, it's not a first reading. There was no formal vote on exactly what it needed to say. I tried to take a guess, just to move it along, to be efficient as council, but now I will fix it, and it will be
We'll have
exactly
the
what the
official
motion.
first reading at the next one, and
It can be
then
passed as
just
emergency.
it can be passed as emergency if people choose to do so. Thank you. Any other questions, discussion? If not, would you please call the roll on that?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Facing?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes. The 175th celebration, as I stated earlier, we worked very hard on that during our work session. Sarah you had the Meet the Teens and celebration. I did email Sean back, so do you just kind of take us where you're at on that, or?
Yeah, I spoke with, Luke, and he said that we can use the coolers, whatever we need for the donated water, and if it's gonna be held there, that's not a problem. I did speak to a couple different vendors as far as for that Saturday to have some food trucks, and that is also the weekend for the tractor show thing at the fair, and it is also Wood County Fair. So I've struck out on the ones I know, so if anybody knows anybody, feel free to let me know. I'm not gonna check them, but I haven't had great luck.
Okay.
That's where I'm at with that.
Street banners, Beth?
Yeah, I talked to Todd with, Kramer signed, I'm gonna go there this week, I'm gonna waiting on
The
the vote for the
logo?
logo. And once we figure out what logo to use, I'm gonna meet him probably Thursday, yeah, and we'll get that going. He said it shouldn't take too long, so, and I did order pencils, I'm gonna talk to you about pens.
Okay.
But I did get the things from Haley, so I'm gonna do some price checking on some of them, so.
And maybe we don't need pens.
Okay.
I think you had, what, 500?
I had 500 pencils, yeah, and about cheaper than what we had
That's
proposed,
awesome.
yeah, so.
I did get these from Holly, I think everybody got one of these, Holly Higgins, so she gave us some samples of what we could choose as far as for the t-shirts. She is willing, more than willing to, make some shirts for us, for that. We just need a direction on which way we wanna go.
I like the bottom two.
I was gonna say, something about
Yeah,
the black and white
the
is
bottom
really
two
cool.
stand out. You guys want to put any input?
I like the one on the bottom left.
Me too. I like the color, but I'm not sure how well that's gonna.
Well, the thing with color, usually every color the price increases.
Yeah, you
So
have
if
to-
you stay with black and white, I think you'll be safe. There's probably gonna have to be a white t-shirt with the black.
Or gray.
Oh, gray, yeah, gray would work.
The bottom two, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know what red would look like either.
You know, stay with red and black colors.
Yeah.
That's, you get your color free when you buy the t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
So, does everyone here like the bottom left one? Pardon?
It's too bad, I think if you tried to put that one in the state of Ohio, it would probably shrink it down too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
The highest need, but. So we're going to go with bottom left?
I would agree with the bottom left.
Okay. Done?
Yeah. I'll let
Pardon?
you know.
Oh, he likes the bottom right. No, I can't. Never mind. And Beth mentioned about the pencils. We've taken care of Mike's with the 6th. The community church dates, I was able to get all the emails late Friday afternoon. Pat Ritter provided me for all of them, so that's first tomorrow morning. I tried to get on my old computer at home, but I don't remember my password, so I'm in trouble there. So I'll get that out tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Any other old business? Okay, new business. I would at some time like someone to call an executive session this evening for the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of employee, or the investigation of charges, complaints against employee or official, unless the employee or official requests are public.
So make a motion for executive session for the.
We can do that. Thank you.
I didn't reread it because you just read it.
It's okay, it's number one.
Paragraph here, so.
I kind of dropped off at the end too.
Yeah. Faded in.
Okay, council report.
Did she make that motion or she
I did make the
She
motion.
made the motion, I guess we need to call that. Second and.
Sus.
Thanks, Rob.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Okay, Mike, do you have anything to add this evening?
No, I don't at this point.
No.
Tyler?
Is it an appropriate time to nominate someone for council president? Or not right now?
Yeah, out of this, you got an empty seat, council's just up, or council president's up to council.
I would like to nominate Sarah. They should do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
And close nominations immediately.
Yeah. I did threaten not to come.
Any further discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Do I abstain from
Who's trying?
Who's trying? Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Okay, doesn't that say president on one of those little signs there?
I thought that was good.
It's all yours, Sarah. Anything else, Tyler?
No.
Sarah?
Not right now. I'm gonna bring up, with the disc golf, we didn't mention that, it was in the East of Marion.
Yeah,
paper.
an American, or Marion local paper.
Yeah, and I saw it in the Columbus Dispatch that disc golf was rated number 25 out of 30 in
Yeah,
Ohio.
our course here in McCall.
For our course in here in McCall, so I thought that was pretty awesome. We were rated number 25 out of 30.
Yeah. That's all Ohio.
Yeah, I think they ranked just 30 of them, I mean, that's not all
Right.
of them.
But still.
But they ranked the top
Oh,
30,
yeah, the
top
top
30,
30,
that's
right.
it, yeah. And we were 25 on the top 30.
Which is awesome.
We made the list.
It made the list.
Maybe we can put that in the next letter too. I have that planned. Okay, under legislative, the first one there, 2207. The first one.
Okay, this is the first reading of ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance authorizing the mayor for the village of Macomb to execute any necessary documents on terms approved by council for the purchase of 216 East Main Street, Macomb, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
So just as a matter of understanding, council voted and agreed on the parameters to which the mayor can have that discussion, and so apparently that was had, and so if there is an offer to be made, that's what's in the agreement that you should have received, and so hopefully they accept it, and if they have...
They're not gonna catch them, Tammy. Sorry.
Just say hi.
They know where you are.
So the reason of doing that is, one, is a matter of record keeping for council, but if the seller needs to show proof to somebody or their trust or whatever they're doing, they know that council has the ability to even engage in that process. It's the same thing that a corporation would be called a resolution. A resolution that the voting members of said corporation have agreed for the purchase of said property at a maximum of said price, blah, blah, blah. That's what this is. It's just a paper trail, so it's open and everybody knows.
Now, would you recommend 3 readings on that, or?
That's up to council.
I mean, we've talked about it for a while.
My opinion is this was started by previous council.
Correct.
And we've drawn it long enough, I think, that it demands
I'm good with that.
that it's 3 readings. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Several months.
Make a motion.
More. It's just-
Do you want to read that motion first?
Yeah.
ordinance 2022-07, second and third reading, and ordinance authorizing the mayor for the village of Macomb to execute any necessary.
We did the first one.
Okay, good for
Yeah, I already did the first one.
I know
Well,
the first one.
did I gather you made a motion to suspend the rules?
Yes, motion to suspend.
Let's make that clear, this motion to suspend the rules, and then we'll vote on that.
Sorry.